everybody, and welcome to Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast. My name is Ben, and with me today is my co-host, David.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We are going to do the entire podcast like this, so I hope you like listening to my voice.
I can't do that anymore. Whew. It's a lot easier to breathe out and talk than it is to breathe in and talk.
Jeez, it's almost like that's how it was intended.
Whew.
I don't care how it was intended.
I think we just broke the evolutionary wonders of the world.
That's right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're back with another episode. This is the third episode we've recorded in as many weeks, which is pretty good considering.
No, it's the second one.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's been 2 and 2.
Not 6 week, like 4-week hiatus.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we're back now. We've got a few tech topics to talk about as per usual, and some other fun things. So I'll go ahead and start since I've got some pretty short topics. First one I've got is Disney Plus. If you guys haven't heard, I know we're going to be like 2 weeks behind with this, so everybody's probably heard this already, but at least if you're in the US, you can go ahead and pre-order just Disney Plus. So you're not going to be able to pre-order like the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu bundle that they're going to eventually have. This is purely just for the Disney Plus streaming service itself. $6.99 a month or $70 for the year, and you get a week free. So, it's not bad. I'll probably end up, at least seeing how it turns out. They've got a whole bunch of shows planned for it, like a bunch of Star Wars stuff and a few Marvel shows. So, who knows how that's going to go. Guess we'll just have to wait until, when is it? November?
Yeah.
November something or other. November 12th is when it's going to release.
So, I, just on principle alone, never pre-order anything. I might do this. I might. I want to hear more on what opening selection is supposed to be. If they give, like, a list, like, if I get more of an idea of what the rundown will be, as far as a launching premiere selection, like if they're going to have like Disney movies on there that I actually want to watch and don't currently have, then yes, I will pre-order and start from day one.
I'm going to assume that it's going to be their entire library because they closed the vault because of this whole streaming service thing, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be replacing the vault, yeah. So
yeah.
I might actually break my pre-order rule because I never do, and I don't advise anybody to unless you're positive about how it's going to turn out. But
yeah, you can never be positive. You can never be positive, especially on something like this. So This is probably something that I'm just going to wait on.
It could be total heart garbage just because, and I highly doubt this. I highly doubt Disney would make this mistake. But the service might be unusable for like 2 to 3 weeks based on demand. They may totally underestimate their demand, and they may have server capacity issues, and the whole thing's jank for like a month. So that'd be my biggest reason not to right now. Yeah. I would hope not either. You think Disney would know? And they should kind of have an idea based on the fact that they already own a good majority stake in Hulu as it is.
Yeah.
But I'd be afraid of that more than anything else. I'm not afraid of the content. I know what the content is. It's Disney content. It may not be what I want at launch, but I'd be more worried about the performance of the platform. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need no endless buffering here. Thank you very much.
Exactly. And I also want them to hurry up and put your differences aside with Amazon. You've got Hulu on Amazon. Give me my Disney Plus on the freaking Fire Stick, please. I don't want to use the computer for it if I don't have to. It's like the only one they don't have signed up for it.
You could get like a Roku streaming stick. Those things are like $30.
Yeah, like okay, and that's exactly what the stupid Fire Stick is for. That was $30. So
yeah, but
don't need another one.
It doesn't matter if you can't use it for Disney Plus now, does it?
I'll just use a computer. I'm not spending $30 on a Roku unless there's other value added to it.
I mean, you can get like almost anything on a Roku.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Roku. I loved it when you guys had it. It's easy. I would have no problem. The only reason why I have a Fire Stick is because of Prime. That's it.
Yeah.
But
anyway, yeah. So that's Disney Plus. It's coming out November 12th. For those of you who more than likely, like me, are going to wait until the platform comes out just to see how it looks, or if you're going to be possibly like David. Then you've got a couple months to wait before you can actually use it, but
let's hope not.
Go ahead and pre-order it. Have fun.
Good luck.
All right. Anyway, what else? What do you have there, sir?
Alrighty. Speaking of other things that will be coming in November, hopefully, there is finally confirmed reports that the Ryzen 9 3950X, their 16-core behemoth consumer processor, should be coming.
16-core 32-thread.
Yes. It should be coming hopefully in November, too. So that'll be something... That'll be what you need to run Disney Plus, guys. Calling it now.
Yeah, 3950X. Please. I would hope not.
I would hope not either. Nobody's going to be watching it if that's the case. But also
it's going to have ray tracing, so you'll need a 2080 too.
Great. I need $2,000, please. That's going to be.
That's the reason why it's so cheap. All of their 3D animated shows, they just render right on your computer.
Oh boy!
Imagine that. Anyway.
Oh, so they're also going to have their new 3rd generation Threadripper come out as well. Hopefully in November as well.
What's that? Is that 28 core? Something like that? 28, 24?
I don't think they've actually launched details on it yet. I'm assuming it's going to be 116. Otherwise, why bother? So, I think it might be a 28 core processor. I haven't seen anything if it's going to take the new socket, or if they're keeping TR4 alive, or if it's going to require new motherboards. Haven't seen anything on that, but we'll have to wait and see in November to see if it comes in. But it might not, and I don't like skipping Ben for another topic, but this is so closely related that it just keep it together so it's easy to understand. The reason why it got delayed from September to November is TSMC might be suffering from its own success. They are tripling their 7nm production lead times for orders. So they were 2 months out. They are now at least 6 months out for their 7nm process, which is what Ryzen's using. What AMD's using for Ryzen 3rd Gen, Zen 2. That's what they're using for the new 5700 series graphics cards. Apple's A13 on the new iPhone 11s is also on TSMC's 7nm process. So there's a lot of demand out there for this 7nm process, and it looks like TSMC is not keeping up. So hopefully there isn't another delay. I would assume Apple and AMD are going to have top priority, and everybody else's orders would be the first ones to be pushed out.
Delayed. Yeah.
But even if AMD gets top priority, if it's not Apple, it's going to be AMD. One of those two is going to be on top. They're going to focus it towards their new, not HEDT, new server processors. So, if they're going to buy all that and have to use wisely what they can get out of TSMC to make chiplets out of, they're going to focus it on a $7,000 server processor versus a maybe $800 consumer processor.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
64 cores, 128 threads.
Is that what it is?
The new Epic one? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't realize you were talking about Epic.
Oh, yeah. No, not the Threadripper.
It's like, oof, jeez. I'd delay that sucker too. So, yay, they won. But, boo, they're going to have the same problems Intel did. If you can't make it, then what good is it to have all that success?
Well, I mean, hopefully TSMC. I mean, I'm sure they've made a buttload of money off of this, so
yeah,
they have the capital to expand their manufacturing reach, but it just depends on how long that's going to take them.
Yeah, I mean that stuff takes years. So
yeah.
But yeah, they're noting that TSMC is preparing budget increases for fab expansion and other process node advancements. But I mean, you gotta have what you gotta have now. Apple's not gonna wait, and AMD's not gonna wait. If you can't get it done now, then they can't sell it now. So
exactly. Yep.
18 months from now doesn't help anybody.
No. Speaking of delays, the Galaxy Fold is coming out in 4 days in the U.S. as of the date of recording. This is September 23rd, and the Fold will go on sale on the 27th. So after, 5-6 months of delays, they finally came out and fixed at least some of the issues that they've been that they were having with the previous units. Like, you can't take off that plastic screen protector thing now, which apparently half of the reviewers did when they were reviewing the Fold in the first place.
Which, poor guys. I mean, I wouldn't have known that either. So
yeah, I
if
mean,
the
they
reviewers didn't know.
It was. Oh yeah, if the reviewers didn't know, then God help the consumers. Jesus,
exactly. That was stupid.
I mean, I personally wouldn't buy a $2,000 phone, but there's somebody that's going to be like, yep, I need this folding phone. I need it. And then they're going to be like, well, screen protector's already on there. I don't really need that. And then screw up the entire thing.
Yeah. So what are I think they're supposed to be wrapping it like around the bezel to make it like completely obvious not to do something.
It's under the bezel now, so you can't even if you wanted to. Okay. They've got guards under the hinge now, so it's a lot harder to get dust in there. They've tweaked it a lot, so it looks like it won't have as many issues, but I mean, time will tell exactly what they have to deal with, because these haven't, like we said, these haven't been out in the hands of the consumers yet. So God only knows what people are going to put these things through and figure out how interestingly designed these things are.
The first thing that's gonna the very first thing that I predict is gonna happen.
What?
My phone case already sometimes wants to get hung up on the denim going into shorts or something. What's going to happen when somebody's pant legs or their pocket gets between those two layers and they don't realize it and they try to just... I mean, some people know that things get hung up. They might not be thinking it's getting hung up between the bezel and the two pieces of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's going to snap one of these things doing that. Or at least damage it in some way. I guarantee it. Yeah. I just can't think of this going into pockets that well. And who wanted a folding phone again? Who asked for
Everybody.
this?
Do you not want the folding phone, David? You don't want your phone to fold in half and
I don't see any benefit whatsoever to do this.
I don't get it. It's so stupid.
I mean, how do you make it that thin to where it's not going to be twice as thick as a standard phone?
It is.
How do you get like cases to like go around both sides of this thing without
you're not going
that
to.
Adding like another like few millimeters of thickness?
The only way I could see a phone case work is if you had like one of those like a stretchy fabric over the hinge, and that wouldn't protect the hinge that much.
Nope.
So,
and then you just wait for that stretchy fabric to break.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like it does on the Apple hinge fabric for the original iPad mini covers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because that fabric unfolds after a while. Ask me how I know, guys.
I'm sure you wouldn't know from experience, right?
Well, and the only Apple product I actually own, and I have nothing but great things to say about it in the beginning, and then I realized how stupid it actually was.
You love iOS, don't you? It's great.
And that's actually a skewed experience, because that one is I don't even know what it's stuck on now. It might be 8 or 7.
I don't even know. I don't even know what update my iPod is stuck on. We don't even use it anymore, except for this is how much I use it now. We use it as a nightlight for Grayson.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. We just have the flashlight on in there and leave it. Oh Lord.
Hey, if it works. Yeah. They don't turn off after a bit?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Interesting.
No, we have it plugged in, so that might be why, but no, it stays on.
I'm surprised Apple allowed that.
Hey, whatever. I don't think it's connected to the internet now anyway.
Anyways,
no big deal.
How'd we get onto that subject?
The
folding
probably
phone.
Yeah, the Samsung Galaxy Fold, the best phone in the universe.
Does it at least have good specs, or is this thing just like
I'm pretty sure it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same specs as the new Galaxy phones.
Okay.
So, whatever. I'm not gonna buy it. I don't know how many other people are gonna buy it, but more power to you if you want to have a phone that breaks within a month.
I'm waiting for that screen to snap too. That's just.
I don't know. All right. What else? What else you got?
Alrighty. Let's talk a little bit about some reselling of games on Steam and see how long this lasts, because it probably won't. There is, and I'm not gonna be able to say this, guys, because it's a very, very French. It's from France. It's a French consumer group. It's UFC Corsairs? Something, I don't know. It's a French consumer rights association has managed to get a judge over there to rule that consumers should be able to resell dematerialized goods. So like digital content, like software, Steam games, other games from other platforms, because I mean it's not just Steam out there anymore. But I could also see them arguing like maybe even like Windows licenses and stuff like that. Like if I could deactivate it, I should be able to deactivate it from mine and then sell my key, and then somebody else can activate their own computer with it. So we'll see how far that goes, because Steam has already vowed to strike this one down and fight it in any way they can.
Yeah.
But I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to resell digital games like this, as long as there's a way for them to verify that I don't have access to it. And I can't play it because I sold my rights to the game. Then I don't see why you shouldn't be able to do it.
I don't know. That's not the issue I think they're going to have with it, because there is a a market for used games, but those are usually used physical games. There's no difference between a used digital game and a new digital game because you're just downloading it from a server.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I could see like refunds or whatever. Like their refund policy is pretty generous. If you don't like a game within 2 hours of like actual playtime,
well, they got slapped on that. Really, it used to not be that good. That's a really recent development, but I do like it. I mean, it is. I think 2 hours is fair.
I don't agree with being able because you could just like play the entire game and then resell it for full price. It sounds like I don't know. It seems a little bit ridiculous that they would allow that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I could see. Well, okay. Well, then there needs to be like a.
If it was like the refund policy where you could only have a certain amount of playtime, like 2 hours or whatever, then that's one thing. But if you're buying like a $60 game that's just come out and it takes you 20 hours to get through it or whatever, and then you're like, I don't want to play it anymore, and you sell it for full price, you've effectively paid nothing for a game that you enjoyed for however many hours. Yeah, exactly.
So there should be a way to get around that.
Yeah.
Make it to where you can't sell it for full price. Allow make a system where Steam buys it back for a very discounted price, and then no, I don't see that doesn't work because then they'll just sell it, and then the problem with that, the problem I see with your explanation is not only is somebody getting it for free, basically, if they're allowed to sell it to somebody else, the distributor doesn't get any money out of it.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't get a cut. So if you can assure the distributor gets their cut of it, then I don't see a problem with that.
That would be the easy, like, if it was done through a storefront like Steam, that would be pretty easy, because, I mean, they can track what game is whose, and
exactly.
Even if you sell it to somebody, there could be a percentage of that profit that goes back to Steam and back to the distributor and all that nonsense, so... I feel like it's, like I said, as long as it's something like you've only played 2 hours of the game, or maybe like you said, where based on the playtime of the game, the amount that you could actually sell it for goes down, that would make sense. But I don't think you should be able to get full price for something that you've played entirely through.
No, absolutely not. And I guess that the original thinking on that one was it's used. You're not going to get full price, but it's not used if it's a digital game. So I wasn't thinking about that, because why would I care if it's a used license or not, as long as it works the same as if I bought a new one.
Exactly.
It's not a physical copy game or anything like that where there could be a problem with it, and it's not virgin and unopened and all that. So I totally get that point. That was a good point to bring up. But I think it needs to be better than what it is now. Because, I mean, there's things that are on there that you might get gifted that you never once played. And you have no intention of playing, and you're stuck with it. It's just in your library doing nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you should be able to sell. Even if it's only for like 15% of the price or something.
Yeah. I could see that.
But we'll see. Steam's going to strike it down somehow, some way.
More than likely. Today's episode of Podcast Period is sponsored by, well, you. We've recently started a Patreon to help offset some of the costs of running the podcast, and you can be a part of it for as little as $1 a month. We have an exclusive Discord server, community events, a Minecraft server, and you can access episodes early as well. If you want to help out the show by throwing some money our way, just head to patreon.com/podcastperiod. Again, that's patreon.com/podcastperiod. Now back to the show. Alrighty, so the next thing that I have is the wonderful. We've got more Apple news after our last episode with the iPhone 11.
Yay!
Yeah. So Apple has announced that the new Mac Pro will be made entirely in the U.S. All of the parts, all of the manufacturing of the parts, all of the manufacturing of the actual PC, and the assembly and stuff. That's all going to be in the U.S. Everything.
So they're doing the silicon and the chips and the
as far as I know,
and
yep.
the PCBs and all that. And they're going to do all that in U.S. based manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting.
That's because Trump said that they wouldn't be getting any tariff waivers or relief or anything for any parts that were made in China was what he said.
Well,
So I think they were like, well, the tariff is probably going to be more than what we want to pay and what we would pay for, all of these things being made in the U.S. So may as well just make it in the U.S.
It's gotten to the point, though, to where some of that stuff, I know why things are made in China. For the obvious reason, labor is cheap.
Yeah.
PC building, PCBs, silicon, all that stuff is automated in factories now. What difference does it make if it's made over there versus over here? The labor is significantly cut down because there's nobody there to do labor. It's all robotic now. So unless there's like a mass energy savings, which I doubt,
Yeah.
I don't see how it could be that much cheaper to build it over there if you're doing silicon like that. So those tariffs probably are going to make it just as expensive or even more so.
Yeah.
So you might as well just do it over here. That's interesting.
Still no news on whether it's going to actually be any good, but hey, whatever. It's an Apple product, so
It's got to be better than the trash can.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
That was
it looks like it'll be a lot more user upgradable than the trash can Mac was. I hope they've learned their lesson with that because nobody's buying that trash can Mac anymore. It's stupid.
I wanted to know who thought it was a good idea to have it designed after a freaking trash can anyways.
I don't know.
What design choice was that? What designer thought that was a good idea?
Whoever the lead designer over at Apple is, I'm
guess,
sure, or was.
Hopefully,
I would hope he's fired after that.
It looks like you can like really, really like disassemble this thing too, and like actually get into it a whole lot easier. So,
yeah,
I'm good.
I don't know.
That.
We'll see when it comes out. But anyway, it's being made in the U.S. Yay, go Apple! Woohoo! Not really. I don't care.
I could care less about it too. Are we going to get one? Nope.
Nope. My computer might not be necessarily as powerful, but hey, I can still play Gears of War 5 with it, so who cares, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good luck doing that on Mac.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, what else you got, boyo?
So from one tech overlord to the other, let's talk about some YouTube. Now, they have already addressed this and rolled back everything, but I still think it's fun to talk about. And I also wanted to delve deeper into what you think verification means, because the reasoning behind this move seemed pretty stupid to me, and I don't understand how anybody can confuse what they said verification was or their understanding of the public's knowledge versus my knowledge of it, because I think it's two separate things and is no excuse for what they did. But YouTube had sent out emails to its creators platform that announced a major overhaul and changes to the way that YouTube channels are verified. So right now, and it's the same on Twitter, if you look at any type of like public comments made on YouTube videos and such, it's really easy to tell if it's the actual channel to respond to you or any other case like that if they have the little check mark next to their name. That's YouTube signaling that this is the verified account for what you're interested in. It's easy. It's simple. Just like Twitter. Anybody that tweets out that's verified has a little check mark next to their name.
Mm-hmm.
Verifying that this is the real them. That this is not some fake account that can easily have the same pictures and same bio and same everything. Bots can do all that and actively update as the user does. So it's verifying that it's the real person. So how hard is that? Well, they were going to take that away. And they were going to take it away from people who were already verified and make them go through a re-verification process, which was going to be a little bit different. Now, they could appeal this decision, but they weren't going to have a check mark either. They were going to have like a gray silhouette behind the name, which I don't have a photo of anything of how it looks. It was sent out to the creators, though, that were affected by this. The ones that were getting re-verified under the new system had an image of what it would look like with that gray silhouette behind it, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know exactly what it looks like. Of course, they faced a whole lot of backlash, and YouTube completely reversed that decision.
Within 24 hours.
Yes. Saying that they completely missed the mark, and that accounts that have been that already have a verification badge will not lose it. Whereas a day earlier, the company announced that they were going to completely get rid of the checkmark and give it a new look. Some members were going to keep their verification, others were going to have to reapply. The ones that lost it could appeal. All this for what? Because supposedly the public thought that YouTube was promoting a verified account with this checkmark? How do I think anybody's promoted because they have a checkmark next to their name?
Yeah.
It's just like Twitter. It's verifying who it is. It's in the name. Verification.
Mm-hmm. It's trying.
How is that a promotion of anything?
It's trying to help with scams, because
exactly.
I haven't seen it like lately, but there used to be, like, with huge channels, there used to be people that would comment with like the exact same name and everything like that, and even if you hovered over their like little their name in the YouTube comment section, that little card that pops up,
yep,
it would link somehow to the actual channel, so it would look legit. And the comment was just a link to spam, like, you could win a $100 Amazon gift card if you go to this link and enter all of your information and your password and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
So the verification mark has helped with that. So if you see this commenter's name that looks exactly like the actual channel and it links to the channel, if it doesn't have that check mark beside it, because there's no way to fake that.
Nope.
It doesn't have that check mark beside it, you know it's not legit. That was the whole point of the verified check mark, to verify these huge creators and these creators with a following and these celebrities that have gotten onto YouTube, to verify that they are who they say they are.
But that's not what it is. It's YouTube promoting that channel.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who thought that?
I don't know. It's probably somebody stupid, I'm sure. I'm sure somebody has thought that, but it's not what it is. No. It's not even close to what it is.
And
it's stupid.
I don't understand how there could be any confusion in that. It's in the name. It's in the title. If you go over the check mark, it literally told you what it was.
Exactly.
It was in the name. I don't understand it. But apparently they did. They are overhauling how verifications will happen in the future. But everybody that's verified now doesn't have to worry unless, they do something stupid again. But
yeah, I don't think they're rolling out these changes now until like next year or something like that. And they've even said that like how it used to be, quote unquote, that channels with more than 100,000 subscribers can apply for a verified badge. So that hasn't changed, at least for right now. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes, if it goes. You know, I think it's stupid what they did, and so does everybody else that has voiced their opinion about this.
And rightfully so, because I don't think it's fair that anybody who was verified shouldn't have to go through that nonsense. Appeal to YouTube? Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly.
They're the kings
They've
of
already
sitting on their butts about content ID claims and copyright strikes.
Mm-hmm.
You think verification's going to be any quicker? Please.
Stupid. I don't understand why they
I don't know.
why they thought it was a good idea. But anyway, that's YouTube. YouTube is the greatest company in the world.
They need some
so smart.
They really do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know how and who or when, but this is what happens when you don't have competition. You do stupid stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
speaking of Google, Google has launched their Google Play Pass, which is a competitor for the Apple Arcade.
I was wondering if they were going to do this.
Yeah, so it's it's $1.99 a month for the first 12 months, and then it goes up to $5.99, which I believe is still $1 less than the Apple Arcade subscription. I could be wrong, but anyway, so it's $1.99 a month for the first year. You get like 350 apps and games that are completely unlocked. There's no upfront fees, no in-app purchases, no advertisements. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's very interesting.
I knew it wasn't going to take... This was one of the only things that was in Apple's keynote that I actually thought was a good idea. Having some kind of arcade or subscription-based gaming platform for mobile, because mobile games are the worst about being nothing but pay to play or ad on top of ad on top of ad. Intrusive ads, too.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Disgusting.
Apps that you play like 2 levels and then there's an ad that's like 3 minutes long or something like that. It's ridiculous. So I love it. I love it so much.
Having a subscription to completely get rid of all that nonsense and have games that just work. Brilliant idea, and I knew it wasn't going to take Google long to do, because they'd have to. They would lose their butts on this if they didn't.
Yep, exactly. So that's it's Google Play Pass. It's basically the same thing as Apple Arcade. I don't believe they have any exclusive games yet. I'm pretty sure most of these games are on iOS. But, $2 a month, that's a no-brainer. And you get 350 apps that you can download with no ads, no in-app purchases or anything like that. It's good. It is not bad.
I'm going to do that.
Are you going to do that?
I will do that. I all the time will find... And that's one of the reasons why I have very few games on my phone. Is because there's very few gyms out there that aren't loaded down with a bunch of crap like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they're going to feed me games that don't have all that crap, and all I have to do is pay, which I will easily spend $5 on a game that I like anyway, so now I get tons of them for a little bit. Yeah, why not?
Oh, man. So yeah, that's Google Play Pass. That's it.
Yay!
All right, what else you got?
Oh, anybody think Facebook should be regulating themselves? Bueller? Anybody? No?
No.
Facebook plans launch of its own, quote, Supreme Court for handling takedown appeals. Oh,
that's a good idea.
Gracious.
Good job, Facebook.
Facebook is creating a, quote, Supreme Court of their own for the public company that is supposed to have a founding 11 members, I think, with an eventual lead up to 40 people, which will be a paid, I think they're being paid for by like bonds out of Facebook or something like that. So Facebook's paying these people to oversee Facebook.
Yeah, that's not a an issue.
Yeah.
Being paid to overlook the company.
So there was quotes from Mark Zuckerberg, CEO for Facebook. If anybody doesn't know that, if you don't, well, what rock are you under? Quote: "If someone disagrees with a decision we've made, they can appeal to us first, and soon they will be able to go further." Be able to further appeal this to an independent board. As an independent organization, we hope it gives people confidence that their views will be heard and that Facebook doesn't have the ultimate power over their expression, end quote. It doesn't sound very independent if Facebook's going to be paying these people.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like an antitrust issue almost. There's a word for it, but I can't. There's no checks and balances.
No,
I don't think that our government is very good with the checks and balances system anymore. But
no,
they're there,
there.
There's nothing like that with this Facebook nonsense. They're literally paying people to quote unquote overlook Facebook, and it sounds like a whole bunch of baloney to me.
Yeah. Supposedly, the panel's decision will be binding, and then the company will implement its findings promptly, unless implementation of a resolution could violate the law. So, yay! We set up somebody who we're going to fully take advice of, and we will do anything they tell us to do. Oh, by the way, did you know we're paying these people? Oh, by the way, did you know it's a Supreme Court of 40 people? 40 people get to decide what this company gets to do. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
That's the
funny.
C-suite of any normal organization. 40 people? Come on. Big deal.
Oh my god. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of external regulation for Facebook. There really does.
Yeah.
Because this 40 people Supreme Court being paid by Facebook is not even close to big enough to regulate Facebook.
Yeah, no.
Not even close.
No.
This company with God only knows how many users at this point. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. Good job, Mark Zuckerberg. Good job.
I can't. Facebook's
okay. Yeah, no, it has. Facebook is a piece of garbage. Anyway, yeah, so getting away from the literal garbage dumpster fire that is Facebook, we're going to talk about something that's a little bit less of a dumpster fire. Gears 5.
And by little, we do mean a little less. But we'll get into that. Don't get us wrong. The game is great.
The game is awesome. It has a few bugs that still need to be worked out. Yeah. Like I believe, you know how we said that I teleported into a horse last time we talked about Gears 5. I'm pretty sure that happened at least 2 other times where I got teleported into the floor and couldn't move. Thankfully, it was right after a checkpoint, so all that we had to do was reload, and it was fine. But that wasn't even like the biggest bug that we had. You want to walk him? You want to walk him through what exactly happened? The second to last night we tried to play this game.
Goodness, which we probably may have been able to finish it had all this nonsense not happened. So
exactly.
We were on a roll, and we were really, 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 really feeling it, and we got to like the second to last chapter or something like that, and we decided it was
the first chapter of the last act.
Yeah, so we decided it was enough for the night because we knew if we kept playing, it was going to take like forever more. So we shut it down and we gave up. So we come back to it the next day and load back into it. And his game's working fine, my game's working fine all throughout the menu. Nothing out of the ordinary nothing obvious seemed out of the ordinary. We load into the game, and I hear all the music, and I hear the little prompts, the dings that it gives you when it has like a new beacon that tells you, or a new objective to tell you what you're doing and stuff like that. And I start running forward, and I don't hear anything. I don't hear my footsteps. I don't hear my teammates. Well, the teammates in the game. I obviously hear Ben, but that's only because of Discord. I don't hear any gunshots. I can't hear commands. Nothing. So I was like, okay, the game's being funny. Well, I don't know what's going on with it. Let me clear out of the game, cancel out, quit the game, relaunch it. I opened it back up, and everything's fine. Again, menus are fine. I can hear everything. Get back into that same spot in the game, which also requires him to quit out of the campaign, so it's a pain in the butt for both of us. And it does the exact same thing. I can't hear a single thing. Well, not realizing what it was, I had a software update for something else that should be completely unrelated. And I was like, okay, I did update this. Let me uninstall this and go back to the other version of it. Didn't work. Uninstalled it completely. Didn't work. Tried to reset the game in Windows, which Windows, you need to fix this too, because it did not reset, because it literally tells you if you reset it, all the settings revert back to defaults. It didn't repair it, and it didn't change anything. Everything was as it was before I left. I was like, okay, fine.
But before he keeps going, like he said, Windows, you really need to figure that out, because there's a very, very easy way to repair Steam games. You just right-click the game and tell it to check all of the files on your computer against all of the files on Steam servers, and it downloads whatever files aren't there or whatever files are broken. Mm-hmm. It is a very, very good system.
And it is
Microsoft needs
many times.
Yeah.
Many times have we verified a Steam game, and it works just fine after the verification. It might be a simple 2 megabyte file, and it fixes everything. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it takes literally maybe 5 minutes at the most. I think we've had to wait
maybe
for sometimes, but it takes no time to check.
No.
That's something that Microsoft needs to implement into their new even the Game Pass games.
Yes,
they need to do that for because it is ridiculous to have to re-download a game just to see if that fixes it. Which it usually doesn't for us.
No, we've done that many times. Gears 4 does the same thing to Ben. He's re-downloaded it 2 times now? And we still launch to a blank screen and can't get past it?
Yep.
So, we haven't tried it in a couple of weeks, so it might be fixed now. Lord only knows. But anyways, so that's the last resort. I restart the computer and I uninstall Gears. And wait, thank goodness, fast internet. Thank you. It'd be faster if Microsoft would use the entire thing. It only used half of my connection's capability, which probably means their servers aren't fast enough, to completely find out that it doesn't work. I get back into the game, and it does the same blessed thing. No sound. I even checked the stupid benchmark, and the benchmark sounds just fine. So I was like, Ben, reload the last checkpoint. And wouldn't you know it, after an hour of troubleshooting this, we launched back into the last checkpoint, which was a pain in the butt anyways, and also had a glitch in it, and it glitched the same way both times we played it.
Oh god, that was beautiful. Yeah, that's so stupid.
And it fixes it completely, and then we reload into where we were trying to get back to, and then it's fine.
After all of that.
After all of that, all we had to do is... So it must have been a corrupted game save. That's the only explanation.
It must have been, yeah.
Which would mean their servers, again, are at fault because it saves on their servers.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love it.
And this isn't the first time I've had a problem with Windows Store screwing me over. It took me 3 whole times to download Gears 4 that first time we ever played that game. Yeah. Because it would fail, like, halfway into it. And it did it 3 times. I downloaded that game at least enough gigabytes to have downloaded that game a full 3 times before I got the first one to make... the first successful one to actually complete.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, thank God I don't have a data cap. I would have burned it.
Yeah, for real. God.
It's a 120 gigabyte game, and I had to download it 3 times before it worked.
Oh, you gotta love Microsoft. So anyway, it's a great game story-wise, but...
They just gotta fix some bugs. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it for a while until they start squashing some bugs.
Yeah, I don't know. If you want to play it, I would wait for at least a couple months. Even if you have Game Pass like we did, I would wait a good couple months before downloading the game because the entire experience was marred with bugs. Mm-hmm. Bug after bug after bug after bug after bug. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. The story is awesome, even though it ended way too early for me.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's just bugs. It's buggy. It's a very buggy game. Great game, buggy game.
You got stuck at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I had
teleported
issues with
into the ground
first night, which was software related with Logitech. I had audio problems with the story we just explained.
Mm-hmm.
We had characters who refused to move.
Mm-hmm.
Which happened twice. That's what happened twice.
Twice in the same spot.
In the exact same spot. The exact same way.
What happened was it's like this boss that we have to fight, and you're sliding down the hill. All 4 of your squad is sliding down the hill. And at the very bottom of the hill is this checkpoint, which must be what glitched them out. So we get down there, and we have to move on to the next part. And all these dudes are doing is just standing there.
Yep.
They're not even like doing their idle animations, I don't think. They're just stuck there. Mm-hmm. Not moving. So we have to go in and reload the checkpoint, which thankfully doesn't take that long.
Thank goodness.
And then they're fixed. There's no reason why that should glitch them out, but it does. So, it's fantastic. Perfectly robust game.
Mm-hmm. It glitches many times when you're in between loading screens.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good about teleporting the player who went second, because there's a lot of spaces where it forces one player to make the move first, either crawling through a rock or something, and then the second player has to usually, and this is stupid how they do this in this game. If you're going up the ladder, the first person has to be all the way at the top before the game will even let the second person even get on the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll do it in the same thing for the caves or whatever type spaces you have to crawl through. But usually it ends up opening up to a new scene after that, and it'll just glitch you and teleport you through that. So it glitches all the time for whoever is behind the lead player. So I experienced it a lot more than Ben does, because he's usually the one in the lead in those circumstances. What else did it do all the time?
That's probably the majority of what it did.
We couldn't do anything because the game never did explain us.
Yeah, we got stuck on a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
We were fighting like the swarm thing, and we killed it, but the boss music never went away.
And
so it's like it glitched itself.
So we had to refight that whole thing, which is the first time that you experience this particular boss scenario. So it's really difficult because you don't know what you're doing. or the game makes it harder than it is throughout the rest of the game. Because I know with carriers got a whole lot easier in the second game than in Gears 5 versus Gears 4. Mm-hmm. They were so much easier. So I feel like every time it gives you a new obstacle, it makes it very hard the first time you have to do it. And it just gets easier, either from experience or the game lets up on the difficulty. Not really sure which it is. But we were just stuck there. Couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So like I said, it's a good game. If you're planning on playing it, just wait a couple months to hopefully let them squash out all the bugs. I would hope.
They'll get it. It's just going to take time.
Yeah. So if you're wanting to play it, it's a great game, great story, even though it ends a little bit early for me. But just wait until all of the bugs, or at least a good majority of the bugs, are squashed out, because that was like half of my memories of this game. The game itself is fantastic, but I remember the bugs just as much as I remember the actual game.
Which is sad.
Yeah, it is sad. But I think that's where we're going to leave that. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked, make sure to leave us a rating on the iTunes Store or YouTube or wherever you're listening to us. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. This episode of Podcast Period was produced and hosted by Ben, co-hosted and edited by David. You can find Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidjas. That's Ben Plays VIDYAS. And you can find David at Car6by16. You can find the show on Twitter at Podcast Period, or email us at podcastperiod@gmail.com. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening.